I mean, I'm an African, but a native South African. And this is a country that has benefited greatly from globalization, particularly the industry that I'm in. South Africa exports roughly 54% of what it produces in agriculture and food to the global market. We've benefited from Africa selling 40% of those exports to the African continent amongst our neighbors. And then we've had part of it going to Europe and Asia. So all of that has been very productive. What I would say, though, is that intra-Africa trade remains pretty much low. And with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement that we have signed, there is a room for us to sell a lot amongst each other in Africa. But that doesn't mean that we should take our eye away from some of the growing markets where there's a larger buying power than us in Africa.
It's something which cannot be done in the short run. Fuel, the extraction, the exploration, production, the refining, the distribution, and then up to retailing is a long process. It's to get the fuel from down underground to a fuel station involves a lot of technology, involves a lot of money in investments. So yes, maybe in 10 years, if at all this conflict goes on for 10 years, if that's what you're saying, then Africa could replace Russia's supply. But in the short run, it's a no. It's a long process to get these investments down there, to get this equipment down there. There are disagreements between the state and the companies and there's a lot of geopolitics which goes around oil production, which interrupts supply. So yes, there's an opportunity for Africa, but not in the next 5 years. For Africa to sufficiently supply Europe, I would give it 20 years. I wouldn't look at it in the short run. One, the transportation challenges. We need a pipeline through the Mediterranean to Europe. And building such a pipeline could cost 30, 40 billion. Where is that money going to come from? Then for that pipeline has to pass through the Sahara. The Sahara is very unstable, a lot of weapons, a lot of conflict. I don't know how many soldiers we need to put on the ground to guard that pipeline. Those are some of the challenges. The infrastructure challenge of transporting energy products from Africa to Europe, and the investment required.
I mean, for farmers, those that are able to produce and have some bit of harvest, and I'm speaking here broadly about all of the grain farmers, we're thinking about maize, soybean, sunflower, seeds, those and wheat, those are the commodities that are largely affected. If you are producing and you have volumes of that, you tend to benefit from these current higher prices that are induced by the generally global higher commodity price. Regardless of which country you are in, the price reference tends to reflect the same thing, although in different currencies across all of our countries. But that party will soon be over, because while commodity prices selling your harvest this year, you're selling it at relatively higher prices, comes towards the end of the year, around September, where a couple of African countries begin to plant their crops up until the beginning of 2023. They will be planting in an environment where also fertilizer prices has nearly doubled from the levels that we used to see in the 2019, 2018. In fact, it's more than doubled from some of those years right now. So you get more money now, but when it comes to planting, you spend a lot to buy fertilizer and the other inputs. So on a net basis, it's just a difficult world for everyone. And also if you factor in the fuel costs for many of the farmers, as well as herbicides and pesticides that they do need to keep up their business.
I think the possibility exists quite a lot. Take a case where we have to change the nature of the food supplies, including also replace those imports that we have been having from Ukraine and Russia. It really means a different way of redefining where these foods are grown, the land system of a family, to be able to allocate a space for the growth of which means that you have to think differently if you have been planting other plants. Many staples in Africa include maize, beans, cassava, and all of these. These are long-lasting foods that really have been traditionally important to support the health of the people on the place, on the continent. And so a different land allocation could also bring different types of issues, including conflicts at the family level. I don't think that when we think on big issues that we shall hear all over the world from the United Nations and other places, I don't think people will go as to the minute details of what this might mean to the family level, the implication of land division, the implication of where in some of our communities, land is divided into exports and imports, and even assignments of family responsibilities. Men and women depends on what plants you are going to be planting, and we have to be able to think about what does this replacement means in terms of policies, traditional policies, but also overall policies of the country. What also I can see as affecting land could be, there could be some countries which the potential for the growing of which are quite good, and wanting not only to feed their own populations, but to export more could also mean that they sacrifice something of the staples that people need in order to find an export easily in an area where the need exists.